Is it time for another show? I better get my skates on, and into work mode.
She's a saint, she's a star from heaven. We can bathe in her afterglow. She's a woman for all seasons. She's the gold at the end of the rainbow.
Welcome to my humble abode in the back streets of the English Riviera. I'm Tracey Ireland, the Torquay rebel, and queen of town centre hearts. This month, I explore whether recent improvements around Melville Hill signal real and lasting change, after a generation of neglect by Torquay Council, or whether this is all to do with the forthcoming local elections, and the extraordinary lengths the Liberal Democrats are going to cling on to power. I have got a resident of Warren Hill on the line. Let's see what she has to say.
Hello Tracey, I'm standing in front of the beautiful mural at the top of Warren Hill. It cost the council £7,000.
I did hear. I'm sure that money would have been better spent on filling shelves at the local food banks and giving practical help to local people during this cost of living crisis.
I'm not surprised that people at Torquay Town Hall call you a troublemaker. Unlike you Tracey, I'm a very positive person. Our 3 ward councillors gave me a beautiful calendar with a picture of themselves. I stuck it on my living room wall. Mind you, the black mold I get has started to appear on their faces. Sometimes the sellotape I use to stick it to the wall with loses its grip because of all the condensation I get. The landlord has strict rules and won't let any of his tenants use a hammer and nails to put up pictures. I often have to fish the calendar out from behind my telly. You do know that our wonderful council has threatened to take my landlord to court. That's if he doesn't replace the ceiling that came down in my flat.
It's good to see positive things happening at last. A couple in the Doss house were taken to emergency accommodation after Torquay Council finally agreed that their room wasn't fit to live in. However, the councillors you seem so taken in by haven't explained to our community why they broke their flagship election pledge to license Torquay's private landlords, and tell us how on earth they came to a decision that management orders are the best solution to tackle poverty, antisocial behavior and Torquay's atrocious housing conditions, when they offer no guarantees or safeguards for the neighbouring community.
I don't care about that. I'm the type of resident Torquay Council likes, never asks questions, is always positive and focused on the many good things, such as the amazing community website called The Point.
I do hope the administrators of this community website don't go down the path of removing posts that upset the ward councillors, because they contain certain home truths.
I'm not interested in all these conspiracy theories, Tracey. They come from people who've lived around here for a long time. I am just glad that I'm getting a new ceiling in my flat. Glass panes have already been put back into my window frames. Now that the boards have been removed, I get natural daylight coming in. It's really lovely, Tracey, and I don't have to pop down to Carter's every 5 minutes to charge my key meter. That's because I'm not having to keep the light on during the day.
I'm truly pleased for you. I really am, and the others who are benefiting from these changes. A few weeks ago, a couple living at the Doss house were moved to emergency accommodation because Torquay Council finally admitted that their flat wasn't fit to live in. I heard about that when a resident approached me to investigate an allegation that Torquay Council carry on paying private landlords rent money, even after tenants have moved out. You know me. I'm but a simple girl from Warren Road. I shall ask the professor from Abbey Road to join us and give his expert opinion on all this. Are you there, my darling professor?
Of course I am, Tracey. I'm always ready and waiting for you. Likewise, I have been delighted to see glass replacing boarded-up windows, drug dens closing, and landlords being forced to carry out essential repairs to the tenants' homes. This has all happened very quickly, especially as some tenants had been living behind boarded-up windows for over a year. However, when it comes to Torquay Council, context is always key. Ask yourself, why now? When you look from this direction, you can see that there's an election just around the corner. It's obvious that the Liberal Democrats are getting worried. They are virtually chopping down rainforests to fill our letterboxes with calendars, pictures of themselves, and claims they want to hear from us, despite having previously ignored us, and failed to answer key questions put to them.
Oh my, you have such an amazing way with words, Professor.
What people must take on board is how long residents had to put up with antisocial behavior and bad living conditions before anything started to happen. Don't forget that Torquay Council refuses to adopt proper housing law especially designed by the government to help protect deprived communities like ours. They broke their key election promise to license landlords and bring them under tighter controls. Whilst we can enjoy a better quality of life leading up to a local election, the stark reality is that this administration has put nothing in place to safeguard us for the longer term.
Oh my God, you're giving me nightmares, Professor. Last night, I woke in a cold sweat, thinking I could hear the people who used to run that notorious drugs den on the corner of Melville Street, fighting right outside my bedroom window. I was petrified in case they had moved back to our area to start another reign of terror. Still, your words of wisdom always enrich us and prepare us for what is to come. Do you have any other bits for us?
Local activist Nick Burley, from Melville Street, has waved goodbye to Torquay. He said, "Melville is a great community, with lots of good people, but couldn't face the thought of being retired and carrying on having to endure the same challenges of the past 20 years. He believes the area's problems are down to Torquay Council and local politics. The Tories have no political will to get involved with deprivation. The Liberal Democrats have proved themselves untrustworthy and broke their promise to adopt legislation designed to regulate private landlords. They haven't addressed the matter of Torquay's morally bankrupt culture where private landlords profiteer from poverty and misery." He went on to applaud initiatives such as making Melville marvellous, and believe that we would have fared far better in recent years, with Darren Cowell as leader of Torquay Council. He urges people to get out and vote in May. He concluded, "When people don't use their vote, they always get left with bad and incompetent politicians running the show."
I'm sure we wish Nick well. There are many times when you feel as if you are hitting your head against the mighty fortifications that surround Torquay Town Hall. Did you know that Nick has been accused of being our puppet master and has taken quite a lot of flack as a result? As if that's Torquay continues to be the voice of ordinary people. Anyway, until next month, me lovelies. are